to speak with Rajdip. Hello, Rajdip.
Hello, Dario.
CEO of Root Mobile. Rajdip, this is the third time I'm having a chat with you. It seems I cannot get enough of your time, but there is a reason for it. You're a very busy man, or Root Mobile is a very busy company. You're doing lots of things. Since the last time we spoke, even more. So the good thing also is we haven't agreed any of the questions. So this is all fresh, and any of your questions, bring it on. So Rajdip, with you, the last two calls, if I remember first, the first call is your IPO, a very successful IPO in the Indian Stock Exchange, something that obviously boosted your company. You also mentioned that you started your company with effectively a computer and little else, and then you grew it out of that with no cash injection. More recently, you asked for more cash for the QIP, if I understand it. So you've now using all of this instrument, and meanwhile you've been buying more companies. So I think there's a lot of questions in there as well. First is world domination is your plan, would be the first one. You're growing very fast. How fast are you growing at Root Mobile?
That's a good question, Dario. Good evening, everyone. Probably, I think we just added a 200 people team from Colombia. We acquired a company called as Mesavian. So we are now almost 600 to 700 people as a Root Mobile as a company. We raised another $120 million recently, and we are looking out to invest in UCaaS kind of company. Because when you talk about CPaaS and a UCaaS, I think that's a great combination which everybody has to look at, because we are all talking about omni-channel as a offering, but there has to be unified communication channel, which is the must for a company or enterprise to select a single vendor who can provide every single channel which they need. Because that's one area which we want to focus right now, and we are looking forward to acquire more company. Definitely organically, right now we operate from 18 countries, starting from US to Africa or Latin America, Middle East or Asia. 18 countries, we are trying to expand ourselves into another 25 countries. So we are growing very fast. We know the potential of CPaaS, but we need to make sure that we also add the UCaaS as a part of our offering and combine go-to-market strategy with both the entities together. We are looking forward to do something big in UCaaS very soon.
Let me ask you some more clarification on UCaaS. Not first time I hear that. I see there's a tendency, there's a trend. But how do I differentiate omni-channel from UCaaS? What's the difference between the two?
So I think if you see omni-channel right now, Dario, is very, very fragmented. So, like if you say WhatsApp, Viber, Line, KakaoTalk, every market you go probably will have a different omni-channel offering, right? You as a global company, you need to make sure you keep on designing the APIs and integration with all these channels, right? And the problem is like you will have a different APIs for each and every channel. The moment you have a UCaaS company who's actually unified communication, one single API for serving all this channel of communication as a part of one API, that's exactly what the enterprise are looking right now, because it's not, being an enterprise, I will have a choice to select which channel of communication is going to deliver better result for me, which channel of communication is going to engage more customer. I need to do a campaign on 3 channels at the same time, whether it's SMS, email, and Facebook Messenger. And based on that, I need a dashboard to understand which channel has performed better. And that is exactly the strategy I need to build. Because if I go to Middle East market, there are many people uses maybe different omni-channel platform, but we don't know which channel is doing what kind of ROI. So enterprise is definitely looking out to invest in a right channel which can generate more ROI to them. It is not about sending 20 million, 30 million SMSs which can give no ROI. It's better to invest in WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger which can give me more result. So I think the market is definitely looking out to look for a unified API as a solution. We all talk about CPaaS as of today. CPaaS is everywhere. We CPaaS companies are creating the APIs, but the UCaaS companies are actually having the dashboard, the platform, which includes voice as well, an entire thing. most of the enterprise customer will use the UCaaS as a solution, and all the API integration will be provided by the CPaaS company. And that is exactly what the whole ecosystem is going to be in next 2 to 3 years down the line.
So if I understand correctly, take the CPaaS word, which has been the API word, making sure you could send the messages, but you then build a level of analytics around it,
Yes.
a much clearer, KPIs, ROIs, which really drives the orchestration for the end customer, which in that case is a business. They can say, these campaigns works, that campaigns work.
Right.
And from a dashboard. That's what you're building on.
True.
Fantastic. So this is obviously a different trajectory than some others, because business intelligence is almost what you're qualifying on.
Right.
And today, what does it take to build this business intelligence? What real elements and tools you're looking to buy out there or build?
So if you talk about the virtual contact center as a solution, there are many companies, large enterprise customers, they're already using some set of virtual contact center as a solution. It's not easy for a CPaaS company to go and compete in that domain. It's better to have a partnership with those virtual contact center solution where all our API is going to be integrated with their solution. That's exactly what the front end and the back end, like UCaaS is a front end and CPaaS is a back end API. And that's exactly how the enterprise in coming future looking right now. They don't want to work with 20 different vendors to have different channel of communication, or maybe 5 vendor or 2 vendor, or maybe 1 vendor. But definitely they just want one single integration module. They don't want to have different APIs for all these different channel of communications, because it's a pain for them to integrate. It's a pain for nobody has time to actually build the solution by themselves. It's better to have some ready-made dashboard which interconnects every channel and gives the result to them.
Well, let me then go back to something else that happened recently. I think it was July, the acquisition of one company. One of the product in that company, if I'm not mistaken, was SendClear, which is an AI element. So let's talk about the artificial intelligence part. How important is to invest in AI? What does AI does into your UCaaS or your CPaaS offering?
See, I think end of the day, when you talk about AI ML, it's all about data feeding to the system. It's a completely CDP platform which works with your solution. So AI ML is nothing but just a data feeding to the platform. So how strong your AI ML is going to be, end of the day, what data you feed in the system, right? So right now, if we talk about our solution over email, we included AI ML within our email solution also, because we need to understand what is the open rate of email, what is the open rate of RCS. All this data points, which is very, very critical for any CMO or CIO of a company to understand what exactly how much I'm spending and what is the return I'm going to get out of it. So AI ML is definitely a part of entire ecosystem, which is more about analytics, more about giving the right kind of data points to the end user. But again, it's the same thing. For me, it looks very, big words which say, oh, that's a great thing to have. But it's nothing but just a programming language which requires simple example of intent, like in a virtual context solution, when somebody's agent is solving a customer problem, right? There is definitely, we have built something called as intent to understand the intent of the customer. Mm-hmm. Based on that AI ML, whatever the customer is typing, we can actually take care of that. And based on the intent, we give the scoring to the customer. So next time, when the same customer comes in, we have the entire data for that customer about his intent. So intent analysis through AI ML is a great option over a virtual contact center or UCaaS solution, which is going to play a big role. Because if a nasty customer talking, all this nonsense thing with a customer agent, he needs to handle by a particular agent who can support in the right way. So these are the few points where intent management is a very critical point in the virtual contact center. Using all our APIs is going to play a big role. And that's how I believe I would love to use intent-based AI ML in our platform.
I cannot stop for a second and comment how much has the industry evolved from where we were in terms of getting connections and sending to actually talk about intent and AI as a...
So, see, the industry is evolved too fast. and too much also, and adoption ratio is too less. We talk about omni-channel as a offering, but it's too fragmented, right? Omni-channel adoption will take another 2 to 3 years actually to have that kind of revenue. When we say SMS, email, or people talking SMS will die, I'm happy to hear from Nick that they have extended their projection. SMS is going to be there. SMS will have a different avatar, which will be RCS. RCS is only one single channel which is ubiquitous, which will work across the operator. You don't need to have multiple apps. So probably, I think this is the main point for all of us to understand omni-channel, so many channels available. And people, maybe sometime enterprise also get confused. What is good and what is not good for me? If you go to India, or if you go to Indonesia, if you go to Philippines, Viber may be bigger in those parts. India, WhatsApp is bigger. But in India, Telegram is also getting bigger now. Yeah. So it all depends, am I using Telegram, am I using WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger? So this is a big question, and adoption ratio is too low as compared to the way technology is growing. And I think it's a big concern for me, because if somebody says that omni-channel will start generating more than 30% of your revenue next year, it's not going to be possible. It will keep on going 5%, 7%, 10% like that way. And maybe after 3 to 4 years, you will see 25 to 30% revenue start coming from omni-channel offerings.
This morning, when we saw the presentation from Guillaume from Mavenir, the keynote, one of the things they asked to MEF, intended MEF community, not me personally, was, how do we educate the end customers, the businesses? I see almost a direct link to what you are doing. You might not educate them, but at least you're building tools that should make it easier for them to understand. Are we doing enough then? Are the tools enough? Do we need to go and teach them more about what real impact with case studies, what to us, the community, to us as an organization, what do we need to do to bring more of these customers to understand the potential and get it engaged?
So I think most of the enterprise, large enterprise or small enterprise, they understand the potential of omni-channel, and that is the best part about it. I think James mentioned we definitely need a more enterprise customer or enterprise coming to this kind of event to understand more about the different offerings we have. It's a very close community where, people who are already developing it or using it, so I think we need to go beyond this close group, where we invite more amount of large enterprise customer to come and be a part of this kind of event. So that, like a flash call probably is a new thing for few people, people are getting excited about the flash call. In our part, like in Asia or India, we have a missed call alert from last 5 years. Yeah. And we are doing the authentication from last 2 years, and there are many users who are using missed call alert, So it is not new, but how you present and what is the actual use case, how can the enterprise going to use your APIs in a better way? I think they need to be also present in this kind of events.
Well, you're touching on the V2P, the flash call, the voice call, activated authentication, let's say. As Root Mobile, what's your view on that? Are you actively doing it? Are you waiting and citing for operator support?
So we are actively doing it from last 5 years. Okay, but not authenticating side. We're not authenticating, but last 6 months we actually started working aggressively to create an API so that we can authenticate. The reason I'll tell you, there are lots of SMS costs. Especially international SMS has been charged now 10 cent, 5 cent, 6 cent. I think most of the enterprise or OTT player, they're getting big hit in terms of their spend. If there is another way to authenticate at lower cost, probably everyone is looking at that. I know for us maybe it's a revenue drop, but we want to be there to support our partners for a longer period of time, and we want to make sure we create various solutions for our partners so that they can save cost and they can stick with us for a longer period of time. If we innovate for them to save cost, probably that is a good thing to do it. And we as a company are definitely educating our customer that there is option A and option B. Option A, you are going to pay 10 cents, but option B, maybe 2 cents. So why don't you try this? And probably people are adopting and accepting those kind of channels.
I'm looking at the watch behind us, and I think it's wrong because it hasn't moved. So it looks like we still have 20 minutes. I believe that we don't. Let me go and quickly check if we have any questions in the Q&A or somewhere else. Oh, sorry, for us. I've seen, sorry, I'm looking in the wrong direction. Well, meanwhile, while I look at it, while I play with my iPad, multitasking, let me ask you the next questions in terms of technology, because I asked you about the AI questions and your acquisition of Sinclair. What's your impact that you think blockchain might have on what you're doing now? Especially from India, we hear a lot of blockchain, so I could not ask you.
So blockchain, I don't know, most of the, Indian hype is using DLT platform or blockchain is nothing but just a scrubber, for me. It's just scrub the data and try to authenticate whether the data is right or wrong. So blockchain is beyond DLT platform. I think blockchain can be used for multiple channels, multiple use cases, it's not about just operator-led solution. We as a company started working on blockchain for the last 6 months. We are trying to include blockchain for CPaaS solution, where we believe that in coming years down the line, the data storage is going to be a big issue for most of the company, because people are talking about the secure messages, right? And enterprise also need to understand how secure is their data with our platform. I think in that sense, if you actually involve blockchain for authentication and storage, I think that is exactly what we are working on right now. Blockchain, for me, is not about just a DLT platform. For me, DLT platform is nothing but a scrubber, which can be built overnight, because it's open source, available through Hyperledger 1.3. Anybody can just come and build, that's fine. It's a regulatory requirement in certain part of the world, like especially in India, which has to be done, but India always has a DNT. There was already a DNT database which has available for enterprise customer to select whether the user is having the intent to receive messages or not. But it is just another hype word, but again, good. If DLT is going to use in a right manner, it will support the entire ecosystem to control the spam. But right now, DLT is also failed as I believe, because I still get so many junk messages on my inbox, which I have also posted on my LinkedIn recently, and I think I was surprised to know after deploying such a large platform, we still get spam messages.
One question from outside says, what's your opinion about the the acquisition of Vonage and Ericsson?
Oh, that's an interesting one. I'm not allowed.
I can put some undertones there, because I say it's not just any acquisition. That's the acquisition of a telecom vendor to a CPaaS player, and voice and more.
So I think that is what the potential of CPaaS has, right? People do understand what actually we are building and how we are solving the customer problem. The major customer issues is going to be solved by our solutions, right? And customer engagement is going to be through our platform. And all these companies, they know they need to have a CPaaS as their part of their offering, whether it's Ericsson buying Vonage or any other acquisition. You can say Cisco bought some other company, So they all want to be the part of this ecosystem, which is growing at very fast, and they need to make sure that they are also there in the race.
Okay. Well, great. We are slightly beyond, but let's take our time. One question before I ask my last one. Do you have any more questions from it? Oh, we do. Well, we have Team Green asking one.
Okay. Rajdip, so India is kind of miles ahead in terms of mobile payments and digital identity. You have all these government-sponsored schemes. And obviously it's a mobile-first country. So everyone's very interested in conversational commerce and inside messaging apps. How do you see that progressing in India?
Yeah, I think India is also far ahead in terms of RCS adoption. Tim, I'll just share with you that we as a company process over 1 billion transactions in a particular month for RCS. Conversational commerce is definitely one area. I think recently WhatsApp also launched their APIs where you can actually build commerce within the business chat. People in India post, I think during the COVID time, people before pre-COVID, most of the people were reluctant to use their credit card online. But during the COVID time, most of them changed their behavior. It's a customer behavior change in country like India or other part has played a very critical role in terms of adoption of digital adoption, plus the usage of mobile phones. And I think you say whether Google Pay or Paytm kind of transaction has gone multifold over the last 18 months. It all because of adoption, all because of all these companies they're coming up with the right APIs at the right time. And we believe that, just to let you know that Amazon kind of company is doing almost 10 million transactions every day. If you go to Google Pay, about 6 to 7 million transactions per day. Plus amount of transaction and the amount of people we have, and most of people now started using the smartphone. India still have only 40% smartphone penetration. You can just believe that, you can think about the kind of potential India only drives in coming years down the line. Like if 60, 70% people started using the smartphone, the amount of omni-channel usage is going to be there is enormous.
Great, thank you. We're definitely now running out of time, so I might have to close it to an end, but I have more questions, my questions here, so I think we'll have to have another chat at some
No
point.
problem.
Rajdip. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.